In the ancient forest, where shadows and light played among the oldest trees, there lived a young owl named Thorn. Unlike other owls who embraced the darkness with confidence, Thorn feared the night. His feathers, speckled with silver and ash, trembled when the sun descended below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of indigo and black. "How strange," the elder owls would whisper, "an owl afraid of the dark." This wasn't a small fear, it was a vast, consuming dread that left Thorn paralyzed on his branch each evening as the forest transformed. While other owls took flight, their wings cutting silently through the night air in search of prey, Thorn remained motionless, his amber eyes wide with terror, seeing only emptiness where others found purpose. During daylight hours, Thorn would hide in the hollow of his tree, watching the sun's rays filter through leaves with longing. He envied the songbirds who lived in brightness, their melodies filling the forest with joy while they soared through clear blue skies. "I was born lost," Thorn often thought to himself, "a creature of night who belongs nowhere." The other owls had stopped inviting him to hunt. The younger owlets no longer asked him to teach them the ways of silent flight. Even his parents, though they loved him dearly, could not understand his fear. Their gentle encouragements had gradually faded into resigned sighs. One particularly dark autumn night, when clouds obscured even the faintest starlight, something shifted in Thorn. A heaviness settled in his chest, different from his usual fear, a certainty that he could no longer continue this way. With trembling talons, he forced himself from his branch and flew blindly, desperately, tears streaming from his eyes. He flew until his wings ached, until his breath came in ragged gasps, until he no longer recognized the trees below. And then, exhausted and overwhelmed, he crashed through branches and tumbled to the forest floor in a clearing he had never seen before. As he lay there, feathers disheveled and spirit broken, Thorn became aware of a gentle blue light emanating from somewhere nearby. Curiosity momentarily overcame his fear, and he followed the glow to its source, a small pond where the water shimmered with its own inner luminescence. Beside this glowing pond sat the strangest creature Thorn had ever seen. An ancient turtle, whose shell seemed carved from obsidian, with intricate patterns that resembled the night sky. The turtle's eyes, when they opened to regard Thorn, contained galaxies. "You've arrived," the turtle said, its voice like smooth stones tumbling in a gentle stream. "I've been waiting." Thorn blinked in confusion. "Waiting for me? But I didn't know I was coming here. I don't even know where here is." The turtle's mouth curved into what might have been a smile. "Those who are truly lost often find their way to this pond. My name is Aeon, and I have lived 1,000 years watching those who wander find their path." "I'm not wandering," Thorn said bitterly. "I'm running. I'm an owl who fears the dark. A contradiction. A mistake." Aeon regarded him thoughtfully. "Come closer to the water," he invited. "Look at your reflection." Hesitantly, Thorn approached the glowing pond. The surface was perfectly still, creating a mirror that reflected not only his physical form, but something deeper. In the luminescent water, Thorn saw himself as he truly was, not just feathers and beak and talons, but the essence beneath. "What do you see?" Aeon asked. "I see fear," Thorn admitted, "but also something else, something waiting." If you've ever felt completely lost in your own life, write the word pathway in the comments below. Aeon seemed to speak beyond the forest to distant listeners. Then he returned his galaxy-filled eyes to Thorn. "Now, I will teach you the ancient practice of shadow integration, the way of finding light within darkness itself." The old turtle instructed Thorn to settle beside the pond, to fold his wings against his body, and to close his eyes. First, Aeon explained, acknowledge your breath. Feel the air entering your body, filling you with life, and then leaving. Don't try to change it. Simply witness it. Thorn focused on his breathing, noticing how it naturally slowed, how his racing heart gradually calmed. Now, continued Aeon, instead of fighting against the darkness you fear, I want you to imagine yourself expanding into it. The night is not separate from you. It is part of you, as you are part of it. Thorn's feathers ruffled with anxiety, but he continued the practice. With each breath, extend your awareness outward. Listen to the sounds of the night forest. Feel the cool air against your feathers. Smell the rich earth and water. The darkness is not empty. It is full of life. As Thorn practiced, something remarkable began to happen. Instead of shrinking from the darkness, he began to sense the life pulsing within it. He heard the subtle movements of mice beneath fallen leaves, the gentle rustle of bat wings overhead, the distant call of a fox. The darkness has always been your home, Aeon said softly. Your eyes were designed to see what others cannot. Your ears were made to hear secrets hidden from daylight creatures. Your wings were crafted to move through shadow without sound. These are not burdens, they are gifts. For 3 consecutive nights, Thorn returned to Aeon's pond. Each night, the ancient turtle taught him more of the shadow integration practice. Thorn learned to send roots of awareness deep into the earth beneath him, anchoring himself. He learned to recognize fear as a sensation in his body, watching it rise and fall without being consumed by it. The practice is simple, Aeon would remind him. When lost in darkness, first ground yourself. Then breathe with intention. Next, expand your awareness beyond yourself. Finally, find the hidden gifts that only darkness can reveal. On the 4th night, Aeon told Thorn it was time to test his new understanding. Fly to the highest branch you can find, the turtle instructed. Then close your eyes and trust what you've learned. Thorn's heart fluttered with apprehension, but he nodded. With a powerful push of his legs, he launched himself skyward, wings cutting through the night air with newfound confidence. He found an ancient oak that towered above the forest and landed on its uppermost branch. Following Aeon's instructions, he closed his eyes. The darkness behind his eyelids was no longer threatening but familiar. He breathed deeply, grounding himself on the branch. He expanded his awareness outward, feeling the forest spread below him like a living tapestry. And then, with eyes still closed, Thorn spread his wings and leapt from the branch. He soared through the darkness, eyes shut, yet sensing everything. The air currents guided his wings. The sounds of the forest created a map in his mind. The subtle changes in temperature told him of clearings and dense woods below. He wasn't flying blind. He was flying with a new kind of vision, one born of integration rather than resistance. When Thorn finally opened his eyes, he discovered something miraculous. The darkness hadn't changed, but his perception of it had transformed completely. Where once he saw only frightening emptiness, he now perceived rich patterns of life. The night forest glowed with subtle energies, the phosphorescent fungi at tree roots, the gleaming eyes of nocturnal creatures, the distant reflection of stars in dewdrops. The darkness hadn't been empty. He simply hadn't known how to see its light. When he returned to Aeon's pond, the ancient turtle was waiting, his galaxy eyes reflecting Thorn's transformation. "You have found your way," Aeon said simply. "The light was always there," Thorn replied, understanding now. "It wasn't about escaping the darkness. It was about discovering its hidden illumination." Aeon nodded slowly. Remember this truth, young owl. Being lost is not a failure. It is an invitation to find a new path, one that perhaps only you can see. In the seasons that followed, Thorn returned to his owl community transformed. He no longer feared the night, but moved through it with graceful purpose. The elder owls watched in amazement as he became the most skilled hunter in their midst, capable of finding prey on even the darkest nights. But Thorn's greatest gift emerged in unexpected ways. He began to notice the other lost ones: the young owl with a damaged wing who couldn't hunt properly, the elder whose eyesight was failing, the outsider who didn't fit into established patterns. Those who felt lost themselves were drawn to Thorn, sensing in him someone who had navigated the territories of lostness and returned with wisdom. One by one, he taught them Aeon's practice. First, ground yourself wherever you are, he would explain patiently. Then breathe with intention. Next, expand your awareness beyond yourself. Finally, discover the hidden gifts within what you fear most. He created a circle of night flyers who would gather in the hours before dawn, practicing together, supporting each other's journeys through personal darkness toward integration and purpose. Years later, when his feathers had turned silver with age, Thorn would often visit a certain high branch at midnight. From there, he could see much of the forest, including the distant glow of Aeon's pond. On those nights, he would close his eyes and smile, remembering how being thoroughly lost had led him precisely where he needed to go. The forest still whispered stories of the owl who feared darkness, yet ultimately taught others how to find their way through it. His legacy lived on in the practice he shared, the simple yet profound steps that transformed being lost from a state of despair to one of possibility. Remember this, dear listener. In your moments of greatest lostness, you are not abandoned but invited into deeper wisdom. The darkness that surrounds you contains unseen gifts. Ground yourself where you stand. Breathe with intention. Expand your awareness beyond your fears, and discover the hidden light that has been waiting for you all along. If this story illuminated something within your own journey, subscribe to Storybox Sage and share it with someone else who might be finding their way through darkness. Sometimes the most important map is a story that reminds us we are not alone in feeling lost.